Looks like I could have just did it right this time.
All right.
Oh, we did.
Couple of them, most of them been on Fox News.
Oh shit, is that my phone?
Looks like
I could have just did it right this time.
a bit of delay there.
No. Yeah, it's my phone. My phone's on. All right. We're on. Cool. We're a couple of minutes early. There is a delay. Okay, so I gotta turn down the volume. Oh yeah. Okay, now we're good.
Okay.
Cool.
How's it going?
So how's it going, man? It's been a while. Been kind of haven't seen you for about a month, maybe, huh?
It's been all right. I mean, I've been at home.
Oh, that's cool.
My work is a giant petri dish of bullshit, and like I didn't want to deal with that. Watch people fight over bread and freak the fuck out. And,
Still, really? Shit.
well, not now. I mean, now it's just like they're trying to do business as usual, but we just had the governor announce that it's going to be masks are going to be mandatory when we leave the house.
That's what I heard up in Washington. Yeah, that's kind of retarded. Well, I heard it wasn't just mandatory, but it's like they're gonna that's like actually a misdemeanor now instead of just a fine.
It's $1,000 fine, and I don't know. I think it's all bullshit, but we see the numbers climb every day according to the local news. But to me, it seems like it's only convenient virus when communists don't want to wear their masks and go and burn shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You heard about that shit going down on Capitol Hill, right? With the occupied like a couple blocks or whatever.
7 blocks. They took over a police station. They had
That's
4
sad.
shootings in fucking 3 days. That's their summer of love utopia.
Yeah.
As they try to tear down everything around us and try to humiliate everybody. And my experiences with Black Lives Matter basically kind of changed how I feel politically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when the shooting happened in El Cajon, like they didn't give a shit about the guy that got shot. They didn't give a fuck about him. All they want to do is sell T-shirts and act like a fucking KKK fucking rally for black people.
I did see some kind of like kind of fucked up shit on the the news where it's just like it was like just like groups of people, not just black people, but groups of people just like obviously there to protest and support the Black Lives Matter, just like attacking like random victims, like random people, that is just wow.
That's what it's about. It's about the UFOs didn't work, the murder hornets didn't work, the virus didn't scare people enough. They need to start a fucking race war.
That's kind of sad because that's not going to go good for any of the minorities probably, but at the same time it's like, why? It's like, yeah, it's like, so everybody does it. Everybody's against police brutality. Everybody's against, the man and the oppression of authority. What does that have to do with black people, really? I mean, shit. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, yeah.
They feel like they're pointed out, but the problem is that,
I mean, maybe to some degree. I mean, of course, racism is real, but I mean, to the extent that it's got to be like blown out of proportion. Like, I mean, I don't see like, I'm sure that a lot of Mexican people, get unjustly profiled, and so do white people for that matter. But it's like I don't see like an uproar from the alt left when it's somebody that's non-color.
Well, this is their time. They used George Floyd to turn their cult religion into a fucking their non-theist cult religion into a major thing now. I mean, you got people that are being baptized now at the place where George Floyd was killed. You got like I mean, I would say if anyone's out there that has ever seen like video of the rising of Chinese communism, the way how crazy those people are acting, this is a lot very similar. The way they're acting, like just really weird and cult-like, and like making them like, basically like repeat like certain things that tenets. They have tenets now in their cult, right? And, I don't know. I mean, all I know is it like started with journalism and then went to like games and like role-playing games and tabletop shit and video games. And then it fucking went to movies, and the whole idea of all this shit is destroy and fucking replace, right?
Yeah.
It's the same fucking symbol on Baphomet, like Salve and Coagula, right? Like destroy and recreate and reimage, and like it's all
So
about, yeah.
I'm more interested in the UFO thing. What did you were mentioning that? What is the UFO thing? I'm kind of sick of hearing about the Black Lives Matter and the protesters
All right.
because it's just like I mean I'm just more interested. What did you hear that I didn't?
They hit the news the last couple of days. There was a paper done in some university in United Kingdom. That was the first mainstream, like I saw it on Fox News. Basically, they theorized that there's like 36 different alien civilizations possibly living in our galaxy. They had Michio Kaku come on, and they kind of talked, and it was all speculative and theoretical. And then today, it was just a small news break. I guess the Senate is now pushing the Pentagon now to release their information about unidentified flying objects. So now the Senate is taking a strong hand in releasing that information.
But actually, are they? Because I thought I've heard the same news before.
No, they talk to senators and stuff. They talk to senators. This is the team that's like the To the Stars Academy, and they're all former, like, in my opinion, globalist appointees. Okay, yeah. All of them. They all either worked for Bush Senior, or they all the way up from Clinton on up. And I don't know, man. There's just something weird about it, right? I mean, like, we were scared about, into not scared, but like the fear tactics being used. I've talked about this shit before, like Civil War, fucking World War III, right? Then it was UFOs, and it was the mutations of this fucking virus, and then as the virus started to die down, it was murder hornets and Yellowstone and asteroids, and then fucking, now it's just like weird fucking politics and cult bullshit going on. And then as soon as that dies out, they bring back the UFO thing. More recently, I think that Donald Trump's son did an interview with Donald Trump too, asking questions about Roswell and the UFO thing. And that's on YouTube too right now. So it seems to come back more and more and more. I don't know if something's coming, or if they're going to release information, or if they're going to say, hey, this is like our stuff. I don't know.
Hey, real quick, Joe, I just want to say something here. I just dropped the call-in number for anybody who wants to call in. The call-in number is in the video description. It's also in the comments underneath the video, and it's also in the chat, in the chat room you guys are in.
Yeah.
Just saying, so that's up there for everybody. Yeah. I mean, it's, I don't know, man. Like ever since the Disclosure Project's come out, it's always been this thing where it's just right around the corner. It's just one more year. We're on the fucking verge of, making first contact or public disclosure. That was 20 something years ago.
No, I
Here
know,
we're still on the verge, on the edge of it, and it's still not going to happen in our lifetime, probably.
Well, no, but the thing you need to realize is it's hitting the mainstream news more and more, and they're not shutting up about it, right? Where it used to be ridiculed, you might hear someone talk about it, and then there's the X-Files theme song playing on the background, and now they're like
taking it more seriously, you think, right?
They're taking it more seriously because of the military release of those videos, and then the confirmation that these are anomalous objects. They're not saying aliens because
Right. Well, they don't know, so yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Know. I mean, I'm sure they do know. I mean, if there is, there is, right? Or there's not. I mean,
but yeah, you can't say a flying. Yeah, you can't say a UFO is definitely alien, right? And shit, it could be DMT fucking entities for all we know.
Well, it could be. Could be. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, like when it came to talking about aliens and DMT, like the stuff that I talked about, I just felt like it. I mean, because you know me, my spirituality, my experiences have been different than yours.
Right.
Although we both can agree on certain things.
Sure.
Just sometimes it gets fucking weird. But the beings that were inside with DMT, they didn't seem like aliens. A lot of them seemed like constructs within inside me. But it did change my trips that made the other trips fucking weirder, and it did make my experiences weirder. Like it did something to me, like. Whether you want to believe in aliens or not, or that the drugs are just a drug, or the drug is actually a way to connect.
For you, it
I can
had
only
that
tell you
effect.
that it gets weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're gonna say that. I'm gonna say that for a different show, man. Because I had 3 bad, what I would call bad trips in a row with DMT in a row. So
Yeah,
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 not
that's the
fun.
process.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's
I'll
the
say that one for a
process.
different video unless we run out of time, unless we have like
You can talk
nothing to
about
talk.
it what you want to, man. It's your show. Like
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just seeing that.
yapping.
I'm seeing if anybody's going to call in. I had a couple people saying that they were going to call in that I talked to outside of this, but they haven't seen them yet. But I'm not rushing anybody. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, no,
Fucking.
I mean it was. I tried to call in, but the code was a little hard to get into. Like it doesn't give you very many chances to
Oh, really?
put in the code. Yeah, I kind of cut you off, so that's why I just said put us on video, or I would have called you and we'd have done it that way. But video's cool too, you
Okay,
know.
so long as it works. So long as it works. If it doesn't, if
Yeah,
anybody tries to call in and the code doesn't work, let me know because I think I posted it correctly.
you know, I
Just
can
saying.
tell you some weird shit that I did notice. You know, out here dealing with the riots and shit or the protests. Um, Out here, like I've noticed that the majority of the violence is in blue states,
Hmm.
and like we're right next to Idaho, right? Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and they went from downtown Spokane and looted a Nike store, and did all this one-sided video, fucking filming of it to make them look good, and there was tear gas flying and stuff. I mean, it wasn't like anywhere like Seattle or anything like that, but you there?
Yeah, yeah. I'm listening.
Okay, yeah. Uh, but they go to Idaho, and everyone goes out there with their guns and defends the property, and like there was no riots.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like the violence is being allowed. Like this is like, it's being allowed, and it's something that we all need to think about, man. Like how I don't know. I mean, I'm appalled by it. Like I'm a pagan, but I'm an American. This is my country. Like I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be. I feel myself to be like not too patriotic, but I fucking love this country, man. I don't want it to fucking. I want to be able to go to the fucking store and
Now
buy
we're
a fucking
fucking
beer
yeah.
if I want to, without having people fucking flipping out like goddamn Planet of the Apes. And then all these weird policies. Like, did you know that California right now, where you're at, just repealed like the Civil Rights Amendment, the Constitution?
I'm gonna bring a caller 204 on here. This is actually the first caller that we brought on that actually I think was going to be successful and not me holding my cell phone up against the microphone.
Let's welcome them
Let's
on,
see.
man. Agree or disagree, come on.
Right. So we got 204 on the air. Hey, 204. I'm sorry, 240. Right. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, man. You there?
Hey, yeah.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
Good. How you doing, brother? Who are we talking to?
You're talking to, my name is Brandon. I just wanted to say, I don't know if you stopped posting videos, but for the longest time, I didn't see you in my recommended. And I just saw, right when I saw your microdosing video, I saw you were live. I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to call in.
All right, on, man. Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, YouTube kind of blackballed me since about 2018. They're not really recommending my videos. It's a way of like killing your channel without actually terminating you, because they've already terminated me 4 times. So I'm kind of fucked. But yeah, thanks. So I'm glad. Thanks, man.
That's
Thanks
such
for.
a shame, man.
I know YouTube sucks.
I wanted to let you know, man. I even just commented this before I knew you were taking calls, but you, to me, are the story guy on YouTube. I've never binged so many videos of you just telling stories. And it actually inspired me a couple of years ago to do pretty much the same thing, but what I ended up taking all the videos down because I realized me talking about doing drugs in every video isn't good for future job and opportunities. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I know what you mean, man. No, that's awesome, though, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. It's nice to know that my efforts, didn't go in vain, and it's always nice to hear somebody that doesn't tell me to fuck off or go to hell. So
Yeah, man. I I don't know. Like, if I think I saw in your description, you're like taking questions. I feel like I kind of butted in on your guys'
No,
conversation.
Oh,
not at all,
this
man. This
this
is what
is
it's all about. It's
our
actually supposed to be
show.
a Q&A thing too. So yeah.
Yeah, it's your show too, man. We welcome you on. We love that you called in. Like, ask away whatever you want, man.
All right, man. I wanted to ask you. So when you microdose the LSD, my first question is how do you get your hands on? Like, I've only ever gotten acid in the on a little piece of paper. Do you have to get it in the liquid and like really carefully microdose it, or how does that work?
Gels are better, like stuff on gel tabs. But you can do it through it's hard to tell exactly how many hits you're taking with liquid, right? But with the gel, you can cut off little pieces and microdose that way. I know that. That's from my experience.
Well,
And
what I do.
it doesn't give you an effect or anything, or is it just kind of subconscious, or?
Well, it depends. Like just before we skip off that, like I do the tabs because it just so happens that I have paper tabs, and I know the paper tabs are 100 UG each. So I put 10 tabs in a vial of water, so that's 1,000 UGs. And if you do the math right, you can easier dose yourself instead of cutting little slivers off a paper tab. You dissolve it, and then I mean, it's not the exact science, but you'll find out. I mean, I try to do like I probably do like maybe 15 to 20 to 25 UG. So basically like
Hmm.
less than a quarter of a hit, just because, if you, I mean, sometimes I always fuck it up because I'll be like, I'll do it. And then I won't remember if I did it or not. And then I'll do another one. Did I do that? And then I, get to work and I'm like, fuck, that's too much. I did do
Oh
it.
no!
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
It
done it
works
with
good though.
mushrooms too.
Yeah.
Gel
that
tabs.
that that reminds me of. You ever heard of people that get on benzos, and you know how hard it is to get off of them? They do this thing. It's called like liquid titration, where they mix all their pills into water, and they drop it by like point 0.1 of a milligram every time they want to lower the dose. I've always been. I would be too afraid to do that because I wouldn't want to like fuck up a whole batch and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, if you're talking about the LSD, man, I don't know anything about the benzos. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've eaten my fair share of truckload of Xanax and Klonopins, but as far as like that what you're talking about, I've never tried. But the LSD, I don't know, man. Like if you got a 10 strip or something, I don't know. I mean, I guess some people like LSD is hard to get, but if you have some, it's like I don't know. I I don't know, but it's not something you do every day either. Like I don't do it every day. If I do it every day, it gets weird because you just don't quite feel right by the third or fourth day. But if you do like every 2 or 3 days, it's about good for me. It just like it's not enough to get you high, but it's enough to like make everything a little bit brighter, make everything just a little bit funnier. That stupid bitch that always annoys you on the bus. That bitch is actually kind
Uh-huh.
of funny today. Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you, man.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember a video you made a while ago. Um, I think you were talking about being on the Jeselnik show, and I think you might have been on Xanax in that video or something. Do you remember that?
Oh man,
But
yeah. My
I,
older videos, I was a lot of them. I was on Xanax and booze at the same time.
yeah, I had that same problem too. I would upload and
Yeah.
I'd be drunk or something, and then I'd regret it the next day. But I loved in that video you recalled the experience so vividly, and you had another video explaining that. And I've always had this weird, and I won't talk about drugs all the time, but I had this weird effect. If I would be on benzos or something, I would somehow be able to remember like old memories in perfect, vivid detail, which is exactly what you did in that video. It was awesome.
Man, I'm not even sure which video you're talking about. That's probably how fucked up I was. But yeah, I try not to go. I've only like actually gone back and deleted like maybe 2 or 3. Like I try to leave them up there, even if they're embarrassing. And I'm like the next time, like, oh fuck, I was drunk. I just
Hmm.
because it's like that alone is kind of funny, even if I don't make sense. I mean, at least a handful of people don't get a kick out of that. But yeah, man, I hear you. I mean, yeah, man. After I got like 1,500 videos between both of my channels. I still post like probably 2 or 3 videos a week just between both of them. But
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's
yeah,
such a
man.
shame they shadow banned you, but I'll
Yeah.
look out for you now, man, because
Right
I
on,
love your
man.
videos.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in, man. I'm gonna grab this next caller. He's been waiting here for.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, thanks, man. See ya.
Good night, Brendan. Alrighty.
Alrighty, we got another guy. Let's show this guy. What is this guy? Oh, oh, it's 772. That sounds familiar. Is that a area code in Washington? Hello, 772. You on?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome.
Hey, Zach. This is Cody. I'm calling from Florida. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. Good.
We're good. How you doing?
Good. First of all, Zach, I've been a fan of your videos for a couple of years now. I've been watching you on and off.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. Glad somebody still does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man.
So I had a question. It's concerning one of your older videos, and if this is too personal, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. So if you don't want to answer, go ahead. A while back, you had a video talking about how you worked at this coffee shop, and you met some Spanish chick who turned out to be a lesbian.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, did you ever get in touch with your daughter after a while? You never had a follow-up for that video.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you I didn't really follow up that much. What ended up happening was I did get into contact with my daughter. I did talk to her for about a year. I never got to meet her. She was in Spain, and she actually ended up committing suicide. So that's why I never followed through with any more videos about
that.
Yeah. That's kind of a sad thing, but that happened in 2015. Yeah.
I'm actually really sorry to hear that. I shouldn't have brought that up.
No, it's all right, man. It's so cool. You didn't know. And it's been a while. It's a weird thing when, somebody dies that you just met. So it's a weird thing because it didn't quite feel like my daughter, but I know that it was, but then it's like, then it's gone again. It's like kind of like it's almost like you don't know how to feel. Like I was more angry than anything. Like, what the fuck? Like, but that's basically what happened. I haven't talked to the mom since then. I talked to her, I think, last in like 2016, early 2016. That was about it.
Wow.
Do you have any more questions?
Shitty.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right. I mean, it is shitty. It is shitty. I mean, I think about it, but it's just one of those things that, life. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So it's
hell yeah, no shit. Yeah, no, that's just really what I just wanted to follow up because because I've seen your videos and I've really been watching, hearing your stories for such a long time, and I never heard anything about that.
Yeah.
So,
well, thanks for watching, man. I still post a lot of videos. Like I said, the YouTube's kind of shadow banned me, so they don't really get recommended. But my channels, the same too. So, yeah, but I appreciate it.
I still get notifications from your channels. I get both. I get it from the 30 Hits of Acid Guy channel. I also get it from Satanic International.
Right on, man. What part of Florida are you in?
I'm near West Palm.
Okay.
Around that area.
Cool. I've heard good things about Florida. California's kind of getting a little too left for me. I'm thinking about heading down to Florida.
See, that's funny because I've always heard it's the shittier California over here.
Really? Yeah, man. I don't know. I think it's just getting shitty everywhere. About to go. I have no idea. Joseph up there, he lives in Washington, Eastern Washington. So.
Yeah, Spokane.
Yeah.
I used to be from.
Yeah, man. I've been watching you since I was fucking like 13. I think you were like one of the first. I think you were like one of the first people who ever introduced me to like Satanism.
Oh, that's cool.
That was like 10 years ago. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I always love to hear that, man, because when I was 13 and I was interested in Satanism, it was through a homeless guy with a book in his hand. That's cool that when it's on a YouTube video and I hear that because it's like kind of makes me feel old at the same time. Someone says I've been watching since I was 13, because then I'm like, fuck, how old does that make me now? But it's all good, man.
Yeah.
Time waits for no one. I'm glad that all I try to do all the way from the get-go with Satanism, man, was just to get up there and tell the truth, and just because there's so much misinformation and bullshit when I got on in 2008 that it was like,
oh yeah,
I got to push this out there, and it's like, I'm not here to convert anybody. I'm just glad people like have an alternate way of thinking, they choose to think that way, they do.
Yeah, the Church of Satan today, like I don't keep up with it anymore, but it's become like this like this occult kind of like black magic oriented like LGBT group now.
Oh,
I don't know what
has
the
it?
fuck's going on.
Sad. That's sad, man. Well, the Satanic Temple kind of fucked all that up, but really what fucked it up was the basically just the internet. When the internet took off, social media took off, like all of a sudden the Church of Satan didn't jump on the internet and get a presence up until way too late, because they're busy trying to thumb wrestle whoever's going to get Anton LaVey's estate and who's going to be the high priest.
Right.
And then they just kind of fucked off and didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And then, I mean, I remember making fun of Gilmore on the talk show, The Amazing Atheist, not The Amazing Atheist, I'm sorry, The Thinking Atheist. And, you know, I said that their website looked like it was built in 1994. This was in 2012. And like 2 weeks later, they redid the whole thing. So it was like they were trying to catch up, right? But they just like lost the ball. And then it was like, now it's just kind of sad, because it's like, I go to like Reddit and I see like the Satanic Temple, and they're like the whole LGBT, like, you know, hail Satan, ponies everywhere, you know, I'm gay, that means I'm a Satanist, yeah. And it's like, no, it means you're gay. So, okay, but whatever. And then it's like the Church of Satan people are like kind of like just going along with it. And I'm just like, guys, really, what happened to you guys? You should be the ones kicking them in the balls, or theoretical balls, whatever. And it's like, no,
Right on. Yeah.
it's all dead, man. It's all dead. The internet just
destroy and replace, man.
Yeah. It is. It's just, it's hopefully
sure.
it will rebuild itself into something better, because you know what, the Church of Satan was kind of on its way out. Is that when LaVey died, that was it. And you know, and I mean, you know, so it's like maybe it's time just for all of them to destroy it and something better to come along and build itself back up. Hopefully.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You were like, your channel, you brought up like the Thinking Atheist, the Amazing Atheist. That was like, that was the posse back in the day.
It was, man.
Yeah, that was the shit. You know, because it was so much it was such a simpler time, because you know, the only thing that was like a hot button issue on YouTube at the time was atheists versus creationists.
Mm-hmm.
It was you and Thunderfoot, Amazing Atheists, guys like that. Coughlin,
Jason King.
Oh,
yeah, man. It was good. Yeah, and that was back in the good old days where they could like gang up on you and false flag you and like tear your channel down and shit. And it was like, it was. We had good times back then. Yeah, it gave us something to do in between. Yeah. Right on, man. Well,
you mentioned Brett Keane.
Brett Keane.
Oh,
yeah.
No, Brett Keane. He had the last couple of years, he had like a terrible fall from grace. I don't know if you've been up to that.
I did an interview with him like 3 or 4 years ago, and I remember he like was, you know, he was one of my favorite atheists, because he was like the black sheep of the atheists. Like even the atheists didn't like Brett Keane, which made I was like, oh man, just jump on my boat over here at the Satanists, then no one likes us either. But I liked them. But then he like found God or something, and he like interviewed me about it, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly what you mean by fall from grace. You mean like he found God, or do you mean he fell back off of the train?
No, it's just he has like a really shitty history. Like apparently there's like allegations that he was a scammer and he's a huckster, a liar, everything. I mean, there's so much dirt about him on the internet, but you know, who cares? He's a fucking dead horse at this rate. No one talks about him.
Right. He kind of, yeah. I mean, when you're, you know, a stark atheist and then all of a sudden you find God, it's like, come on. Like, how can you, like, you know, just like totally do a 180 and anybody take you seriously anymore? You know, I mean, but yeah. I mean, I wonder if it's just detractors. I don't know. Him and I were never really good friends. You know, he just like, when he saw something that was interesting, he would do an interview. But yeah, no big loss, I guess.
Well, anyways, I want to let any other callers come in.
Right on.
So
man.
Thanks for taking the time, man.
Hey, thanks again, man. Thanks for calling in, man.
Have a good night.
All right. Have a good night. You too, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Wow, cool. We got some callers.
Kind of sounds like that one guy you're talking about. Sounds like the random Christian that would come and talk to me on a bus stop, right? And tell me about how they used to be a Satanist.
Oh, those fuckers.
Ever hear that story from a fucking weird, crazy Christian come up to you?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I've heard that. I was a Satanist and I found God and saved me from hell. I was like, no, you weren't. You were just delusional. Get out of here. I don't have a cigarette either.
Yeah, I know. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, teach their own how they find and open their path. You know, that's how I see it. Like, I don't hate Christians. I think that they're limiting themselves with allies by not embracing other things, because they've been told for so long that they're, you know, their way to heaven. You know, now it's just been all fucked up, right? Now you got like corporate Christian, you know, evangelist bullshit that's always been around, but it's like, you know, the ones that think they're entitled and completely forget about their own doctrines, right? The Old Testament, the New Testament. That's why I study scripture, because because I have to deal with a lot of Christians up here, and I didn't think it was going to be that useful. But for me, like if I ever get, you know, someone wants to try to convince me of their path or try to force it upon me, and then it's kind of prevalent up here. It's a little different than it is in California. Like up here, like there's more churches than there are actual like people in some areas. You know,
Shit.
we still got Mennonites and some Amish, and you know, there's Mormons, lots of Mormons. You know, but it's always the real strict Christian, you know, that wants to come up and talk to me about my belief system and how it's flawed. And
That shit didn't happen in San Diego, did it? That shit didn't happen in San Diego.
Yeah.
Really? It doesn't happen to me, not often.
Story, man. This is back when I was experimenting with like voodoo and shit. And my wife, I guess, had heard something in the house that was really kind of freaky, and she told one of my roommates, and he was kind of a crazy hoarder, Christian kind of guy. And he brought over a priest to come over and shut down the portals in my house. And like, I was quoting scripture to him, and he was sweating like a motherfucker. The guy wore like this Jewish, like, I don't know what you call it. And he wasn't Jewish. He was just he just came from the rock church, you know, like, and he was like trying to close down shit. When he was talking to me, he was sweating like a motherfucker because I knew scripture. And he couldn't, you know, I mean, one of my many phases that I went through, you know, like before I found my own path, you know, but, yeah, it was great. I've had that happen. Up here, it's more like the random person, you know, they'll see my necklace, or they'll, you know, they'll want to talk to me because, you know.
So Eastern Washington's a lot different than Western Washington. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is more rural. I mean, Spokane's like the second largest city in Washington State, but
Right.
But this area is you know, regardless of the people moving in from the coast or wherever they're moving in from, like its values here are very conservative, like in a lot of ways, you know, and we're real close to Idaho too, which is very conservative. That's not really why, I mean, kind of why I chose it. I mean, like, that's why I came up here, is because, you know, it was familiar and it was green and there's rivers and there was just so much crime and crowded bullshit happening in El Cajon where I was living.
Yeah.
I had to leave, man, and I couldn't afford it. Like just the bills alone, like for you know how hot it gets in San Diego, like turning on the air conditioner, I was paying like $700 or $600 a month
in El Cajon. Yeah.
The bills. Yeah, and I couldn't afford it, and I ended up living in a shithole where there's people who don't know how to throw away their trash, and there's rats, and there's fucking crackheads all over I mean, there's crackheads everywhere now. It's kind of like there's no real place from it, but at least up here I can go into the forest and just fucking chill. And
yeah, that's good, man.
Up here, yeah, I like it better up here than California. And then all the laws going into California, I just don't want to fucking deal with it.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I want out of here too. I'm just not sure exactly where. I'm kind of gonna let love be my guide. Sounds cheesy. No.
It is. I mean, you just got to find a place where you find like it's cool, and you know, you're always welcome. Come up here if you want to and check it out. It's just developing, you know. I mean, we don't got the madness of the activist shit like Seattle does. We got some of it, but not really, you know. I mean, it's a little mellower here, but
I don't know, man. I'm gonna be traveling here soon, man. You know, I don't know when this Trump unemployment stimulus thing is going to end. So while I'm making $900 a week to do nothing, I'm traveling, man. I'm going back to Seattle next week on the 2nd, and I'll be hanging out there for about. I just got a one-way ticket, man. This time I didn't get a round trip. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to stay out there for as long as I fucking want, and then
come see me.
But you're the other way, man. I want to go back down to California and hit people, like, you know, and I want to get
those. Up to you.
I hear you, man. I hear you. But
just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Totally. We'll see. Because I'm kind of like I don't know, just gonna kind of let the wind blow me one way or the other, you know. And
that's how you should be, especially with everything that's so crazy right now. Like, you know, you should go and see whatever you can see while you can.
Right.
You know?
Right. Because when this ends, it's like who knows, man. I mean, I don't even have a job anymore. I don't think my job is gonna. I don't think my job exists anymore. But that's okay. I could find another job. But why I'm here, it's like, yeah, I want to I could save up this money and do this with that or that. But it's like, you know what? I never have either. I have the money and not the time, or I have the time and not the money. Now that I have both, it's like, fuck it. I'm just gonna go travel and do what I've
You
wanted
might
to
as
do for a
well,
long time.
man.
Right.
You might
Heck
as
yeah.
well. But if you do decide to come over here, man, we could do that LSD thing you wanted to do and do it live.
Yeah, we could. We could still do it. We could. Our next episode could be doing LSD live, huh?
Well, I mean, it's 8 hours of weirdness,
Yeah. It's well,
that
I got a feeling we just
would
lose
be
interest in
funny,
the
though.
show, man. We just lose interest in the show and start doing something, just walk away and just forget that we're live and shit. That's what I do. I can't concentrate on LSD with the
Unless
shit.
we had some sort of person that was just there, hanging out with us, filming, acting cool, But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just a lot of weird shit. I think we were talking about UFOs and the newest announcements. It always seems to happen just before something, when things start to die down, the media throws out something weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think when the media gets their census that people are starting to get bored of hearing about Black Lives Matter, people are getting restless because it's the same fucking news. Then all of a sudden it's something, they go back to one of their triggers, like, oh, aliens, everybody loves aliens, or this, or terrorists or whatever. We'll throw something at you.
Yeah, it's just really odd. I've been paying attention to all the headlines. I'm doing my best to try to stay out of watching the news, though, if I can.
Does anybody know where is it like a I thought there's a psychedelic festival coming up, a big one. I think it might be up in Washington area somewhere. I think it's in the Northwest. Have you heard about that, Joe? Because I'm so down to go to that.
Being new here, man, a lot of the time I'm just chilling at home. Really,
You haven't heard of anything?
No, I was thinking about coming down to El Cajon to see Wardruna, though. If it's not, because it's Wardruna, the Nordic Viking band that did the music for Vikings, is playing at the El Cajon Civic Center.
Wow. Okay. I don't know, but okay. It
must
be pretty good.
That's cool. It's pagan music, neo-pagan. Yeah, I'd like to go check them out if I could, and come back and stop in San Diego.
Oh yeah, man.
But I just mostly been doing stuff around my house. I just been doing basic shit, mowing the lawn and fucking doing groceries and hanging out here and doing a little gaming with some friends. But basically, everything's pretty chill. I'm not too happy about being forced to wear a mask, though, if I don't want to.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, right. Highway Time, he was asking if what I was talking about is like the Burning Man. It is, but it's not that big. It's not nearly to that extent. But it is kind of it is like a psychedelic festival. I forget.
I know we have barter fairs, hippie barter fairs that are where you can go and trade for shit and get psychedelics and whatnot.
This is more it's kind of like that, but on a bigger scale, and it's more geared towards psychedelics and smoke shops and shit like that. It's like a pretty much build. It's like the psychedelics aren't secondary to a farmer's market or a hippie festival. It's like the psychedelics are the main draw. I just can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up afterwards because whatever that is, I thought it was coming up in the summertime, and if it is, I'm definitely gonna, wherever the fuck that is, I'm gonna go.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't care where it's at. I'm pretty sure it's.
I'm only 4 hours away. If I really wanted to, I could go. I mean, my mom lives out in Renton, so I can.
Oh, that's where I'm actually going. Oh yeah, we talked about this, Joe. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. I'm going to stay in Renton, and I got a hotel at the Ciron in Renton for 5 days.
Sick. Yeah, right on, man. It's gonna be a good time. Maybe you call me. Maybe we can meet up or something.
That'd be kind of far. You really gonna go drive all the way out to Renton?
I need to go see my mom. I haven't seen her in almost a year now.
Oh, really? So you're serious? Yeah, because I'll be up there June 2nd to at least June 9th. That's when I'm paid.
July, you mean? July?
So, yeah, July, correct. So next week I leave next Thursday, and then I'll be there till the following Thursday, I guess.
I can't promise nothing, but I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, there's a chance I might jam down east. I mean, it's not that far, and we'll see how it goes. See how burnt out I am by the time a week's up.
For
I
sure.
talk a lot of talk, and then come day 5 and 6, you're just like dragging ass. Like, who knows, man?
Well, do you want to talk about your bad trips?
Oh man. Oh, well, yeah. I guess we have some time since we're running out of stuff.
I can help you translate a little bit, and then I can tell you what it all leads to.
Well, I had this trip, man. I had a couple, but the one that actually stopped me from was I was at a hotel, and I had to check out in like 45 minutes, man. But I didn't get a chance to do the DMT the night before, and I really wanted to get a chance because it's hard for me to do it where I live because it's hard for me to absolutely know I'm not going to be fucked with for 20 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
I can kind of know, but there's still that fear in the background that somebody's going to require my attention, and I'm just not going to. I'm going to be fucking tripping balls. So I got it, and man, I did it. I found a new technique off the Yocan, the vape, where I put screw the top off and I put it right on the coil, a big glass tube, so that I can see it. And I had this technique of breathing. Anyway, it's like a one-hit breakthrough, man, every time. But I think maybe it was just too much. Like, I wasn't used to getting that dense of fucking DMT, and I'm not sure, or it's a technique. Whatever the reason was, though, man, it hit me, and all of a sudden I felt like a thing of anxiety, and I opened up my eyes, and it was like, well, outside of the visuals were weird, but the visuals are always weird. But it gave me this feeling, and like all of a sudden it was like a panic attack because I didn't know where I was. I got disassociated very fast, and I was looking around the hotel, and I could see it was a hotel, but I had no idea where I was, and I barely even knew who I was. And like, I had some music playing on, and it was like amplified by 20, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And then all of a sudden I'm like looking at my bags, and they're not my bags. And then there's a door, but here I start to hear these voices, and the bed's like stretched to like 20 feet long. And I'm like, I hear these voices, and they're like, oh no, he's never going to get out of this. Is he doing this again? I feel so sad for him. He just going in circles. He's never going to wake up. And I kept hearing these voices, and I'm like, fuck. I felt like somebody was in the room, and I couldn't pinpoint where anything was from.
Yeah.
And so I just that's the thing, is I didn't know I just did DMT. That's how disassociated I was. So I was like, where the fuck am I? What just happened? And it felt like a Star Trek, like a beam me up and put me somewhere else. But I didn't even realize I was high on DMT at first. It took me a couple minutes before I realized, like, okay, I just smoked some DMT. Okay, that's what's going on. But it happened so fast, man. And that's a scary feeling when I hear these voices saying he's never going to get out of this. He's never going to wake up.
That's why when I would help guide people, I would be there with them to when you're doing psychedelics, it's all good and partying, and I continue to say that sometimes it gets weird. I am a firm believer of taking it seriously, like a ritual, and having people there that can be there for you if you
even on DMT though. Really?
Fuck yeah, because it's a fucking blast off into hyperspace into the center of who you are, right?
I think
it takes you in deeper into yourself, and then sometimes it can be very traumatic, man. And sometimes the images can be highly like psychedelic and spiritual to a nature that's really fucking. I mean, like you were saying, you were in like pure consciousness mode, right? Like when you go into you're not. You don't feel like you're in your body necessarily, right? Like you're pure consciousness at that point, and you forget that you're actually who you are. The deeper you go, but the more bad trips you have, and you go through them, they just build you up.
Well, check this one out. That one I ended up getting out of it. It was just a matter of time. Once I realized that I just done DMT, because I saw the pipe on the floor. I was like, oh fuck, that's what happened. Okay, and then I was like, okay, and then I calmed down. But I tried it again 2 nights ago, man. Same technique, but I only did half, just to kind of test it to see if like, was I just having a bad day that day? And dude, the last one that I had was almost just as bad. As soon as I did it, and I felt like I heard the ringing come, and I felt the thing crawling up my, the tingles up the back of the spine. I'm like, okay, I'm about to blast off, right? And I open my eyes, and all of a sudden I hear this, like, how like when you're playing like an old Atari game or a stand-up video game, an old school one. When you die, like your character died, he goes, like, it made some fucking noise like that. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, I heard somebody like say that. And I saw myself like above myself, like dying, like fell down on my knees. Here's the weird part. I started fucking spitting out all my teeth. dude. I was on my hands and knees. I wasn't really on my hands and knees. This is in my head, but I thought I was like, and it was so realistic, like a bad dream when you hurt yourself. I was actually spitting out all my teeth, and people were like, "No!" Like I was dying. I'm just like, "Fuck!" Like, and then I just felt myself dying. And then I somehow that scared the shit out of me. And I snapped out of it, but I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna take a break for a while.
DMT is like death.
That was the first time I've experienced that hard of an ego death because
it's like death.
It was not comfortable, man.
Yeah, I've had plenty of ego deaths, man, and like it's
like that or violent, like scary, painful. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had like one time I had taken it like too soon. You know, after you're supposed to wait like 45 minutes before you take the second dose or whatever.
Okay.
Because, you know, if it, from what they're saying, it being in the body, right? Like it's releasing that shit, and you have to like take a minute to recover so you can gain some back. Immediately, it was fucking dark, man. I saw these like what they look like hooded reapers with hands that were scythy bone kind of things, and they were just poking the shit out of me. And I remember I like crawled in a corner, and it was really fucking hellish, man. And you know, I think that also too, like, I mean, if you have a fear of death and letting go, it's definitely going to come up within your trip. It's definitely going to come up in there.
Well, I think most people though have a fear. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to kind of like, that's kind of what DMT forces you to do, is to let go, whether you like it or not, right? Whether it's a pleasant trip or it's a, you know, a scary one like you had. It's always good to take breaks too, man. Like, but if there's something affecting you like subconsciously, let me just give you an example. There was a roommate I had, this chick from Germany, and she was really obsessed with her fucking boyfriend, but she wanted to fucking try it. She never tried it. She tried it, and all she said is she saw her fucking her life with him and his head like spinning around. You know, it was him, and then like she was gonna have a baby and like weird shit, and like I definitely believe you can bring that in. There are elements of you know, the world around you and your own you know, what you call it, your own not only spiritual outlook of life, or your life in general, and whether you're, you know, it'll force you to deal with it in some way, in some fashion. It'll show it to you in some archetype or whatever, like, and that's kind of the process it takes to kind of go into like the shamanic, like painful psychedelic experience, man. You go from a partier to a psychonaut, and then you start to have these trips that break your ego down and then build you back up and take you down, and you know what I'm saying? And like that's the painful fucking process.
Well, you know what's weird about that though, is even on high doses of LSD, dude, I've never experienced quite something like that, because it's like, even as tripping as hard as I've tripped before on LSD, I still knew I was tripping though. I never quite got disassociated. Like I knew, I mean, maybe temporarily here and there, but I knew I was fucking tripping. Like with the DMT, it's the weirdest thing because I didn't know I was tripping. I didn't know where I was, and I kind of didn't even know who I was for a second. It's weird. That's a scary feeling.
Well, it is a very weird feeling, man. And I'm going to tell you that it's the more you continue to do it, the more you're going to be able to have control of being aware that you're in that conscious state.
I think I'm going to mix it with what do they call that? Changa or whatever, like mix it with the herbs. And try a different,
you know what I do is I
thing instead of fucking straight up freebasing it, the fucking full concentrate like it's crack, like, you know.
It's straight up, yeah. and there's people who shoot it up too, and I'm like, what the fuck is that all about? And they're like,
maybe I should snort it and see what happens.
I heard it burns like a motherfucker. Don't do it. Like,
I'm sure I've snorted some shit.
What I do is I would get a little bit of weed.
No weed, kind of weed. Absolutely not weed, but okay.
Well, there's another technique that I do. I use sage.
There you go, sage.
I stopped wanting to have like, I felt like the weed was affecting.
Absolutely. That's why I don't want to weed.
And so I started using sage and different herbs. You know, like you can buy like smokable herbs that are like pretty pleasant and stuff, just to kind of green screen it.
Yeah. Where do you get these herbs?
So, those are very powerful ways to fucking do it, because like the whole idea of doing it, right, is that you get into a state where you want to lie down. And you want it to kind of overtake you, right? Like
Okay.
if you're only taking enough of it so you can look around and do that shit, that's first level shit. If you put it on the bowl and you smoke it, and you smoke that whole fucking bong load down, because the minute you put the DMT on anything, it's going to be DMT infused, right?
Sure.
So if something about aliens you said in a comment, man, like this is what I was going to tell you. I'm like, if you're not seeing aliens, you ain't doing it right. If you're not talking to aliens, Zach, you ain't doing it right.
I think I skipped the aliens, dude, and went straight to my fucking grave on that last couple times.
It'll show you that, man. It'll show you that. That's, in my opinion, that is, I mean, I guess it's kind of an atheistic approach to it, like that I thought about after doing it for a while, was that like if it's naturally in your body, right, and it floods when you're dying, and it floods when you're dreaming, like whether the afterlife is real or not, you're given that afterlife when you die, right?
Maybe. I don't know, man. That's highly theoretical.
Well, I'm not saying the afterlife is real. I mean, I believe in one, and that's my opinion. I mean, people can say whatever the fuck, that because I'm a theist or whatever, but even if there is no afterlife, and like there is no spirit or there's no soul, right? Like, I mean, there's no time there, right?
Okay.
You get where I'm going?
Yeah, I do get what you're going, and I really hope that that's what happens when we die, is that we get flooded with DMT and we just transported out of this fucking world. But I'm skeptical.
Maybe, I mean, even if for like a minute that flooded your system and you were dying, right? It would be like years.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice. It's kind of like, that's the I saw a light at the end of the tunnel type thing. I mean.
Well, I had a near-death experience recently. I told you about that, right? I saw burning cities and fucking and pentagrams and fucking, weird fucking, demonic horrors sitting on a throne of skulls. That's what I fucking saw. I thought I was dying too. I went to the ER for it. I thought I took mushrooms, right? And I took like an eighth, and I hadn't done it for a while. And I guess if you put them in the dark for a little while, they get real potent. And I had to go to the hospital. I thought I was having a heart attack.
Sure. You gave yourself an anxiety attack. Yeah.
Well, that's what it was. I was seeing myself fade and shit. I was seeing like bright light and shit. And then it faded into like this weird, like hellish, like cities burning and shit. And it's kind of odd because that's kind of what happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's where it gets weird sometimes.
It's scary, dude. Like spitting out your own fucking teeth and hearing somebody say, "Oh no!" Like I felt like I just killed myself. I thought I did. Like that was like the last hit you're ever gonna take, basically, as you die and spit out your teeth. That was like fuck, like a mummy falling apart. It was weird, huh?
Have you ever been kicked out of the DMT world? I have a couple times.
I don't know if I got kicked out or I kicked myself out. I've tried to snap myself out of it because it started to get scary, and I don't know if I got. Dude, the other one that I had wasn't quite as scary. I think I got kicked out because now that you mention it, I just started to blast off, and I was sitting in this chair, sitting up, and I didn't think I was gonna be able to get a really good hit because I didn't think I had that much in there. I was wrong, and I did, and all of a sudden I snapped. Something happened, and I snapped up, and I was standing up, but I didn't know where I was. And all of a sudden I looked around, and this little room here was all on fire, right? And I yelled out, right, because I thought like I caught myself on fire. And then I held my hands against the wall, and the fire like crawled up my arms, and then I shook my head like that, and I was able to snap out of it. And I was like, whoa, that was kind of scary.
I thought I was on fire one time when I was on LSD, that when people were fucking with me, like on LSD. I saw blue flames on me, and I felt it burn my arms and shit. I was tripping out. That was just people trying to fuck with me when I was younger, when I was on it. But I've had some bad trips on all of them.
Shrooms are scary, man. I mean, because it's like at least that's kind of why I like LSD better, is because I can kind of assess that a tab is going to be on the high side, maybe 200, UG, right? Now I can pretty much, I mean, maybe it is a little bit stronger, but the shit that you're getting around here is, so anyway, I can kind of gauge it a little bit. But shrooms, it's like usually like a small fucking stemming a cap, you know, and that thing could be 10 times as fucking strong as his brothers right next to him, right? And he's just, yeah, it's harder to dose. I've kind of lost my shit on shrooms a few times, man.
Yeah, I have too. I've taken 10 grams of mushrooms.
Oh, fuck 10 grams, dude. I can't even do any more than like 2.5 or 3 these days, at least from the guy that you and I both are mutual friends with. That guy's stuff, 2.5 is pretty fucking pushing it, man. Like, those are pretty strong shrooms. Either that or I'm just getting old. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just a majority of the weird experiences I had have been on mushrooms. A lot of them. I mean, I've had some on DMT and LSD, but the majority of the really weird, like shamanic shit was on mushrooms.
I've never had any demonic or spiritual shit, dude. It's all been like,
yeah,
I haven't though. That's a weird. I want to, man. I'm waiting for it, but I never get any fucking angels.
It's every once in a while, man. That's
no
why
fucking no woman in the forest, no nothing. I don't get any aliens like, you know, giving me tea as we fly over through the rings of Saturn. I get fucking spitting out teeth and fucking weird shit. No, actually that's rare. The other ones were fairly pleasant, or they were just weird but not scary.
Yeah, that's a warning. You know, it's probably something inside you. It's telling you something. You know, maybe it's good to slow down. Maybe you need to do it in nature. You know, maybe it's outside. Not good to do. Maybe it's not good to be trapped in a room.
I think that's it. And I think that maybe the way I was doing it was just a lot more intense than the way I've. So like basically, I just got 3 times as much as I ever had, and I think that maybe the whole death thing is obviously probably ego death, right? And the whole it's probably my ego saying "fuck me," like we're about to go.
And vanity too. Your teeth are vanity.
Right.
In dreams,
vanity and virility.
When you're tearing out your teeth, it's said that's a vanity thing.
I know the teeth. Yeah, they are equated with ego, with a higher consciousness of the image of the self. So yep, there's something to do with that, man. Yeah, and so like that was just like my ego just probably like in its death throes at that point, like you know, like trying to hold on to something.
I don't want to do it without someone around me. Like I sometimes I feel like when I'm recovering that I need to talk about like some of the things that I've experienced. I mean, it got easier, but like the more I did it, but like, I mean, it's just such a powerful psychedelic, man. Like, I mean, it kind of makes acid and mushrooms look a little pedestrian, although they can get to that level too. But DMT is like so fucking, it's such a mind rape, isn't it? Like, you know,
it wasn't until recently, man. I thought I had it under control, and you know, the weird shit I saw, you know, and even the aliens and entities, or you know, whatever, like kind of saw for a little bit. I never, it was never scary. It was like weird, but not scary. That was the first scary. But hey, Joe, let's
go ahead.
No, I was just say let's wrap it up, man. We just hit an hour right now, and so.
Hey, it's cool, man. It's good talking to you. Let's try to work something out. Like while you're up here, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, man. If you, hey, Joe, and if I don't know if what you're doing, but they dropped a link in the chat room I'm reading here. It says it's basically like a tiny chat, so all these other guys can come up to. I'm gonna go over there with those guys. But if I see you over there, if not, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for pulling
the chat.
It's called if you go to Satanic International Network and you click on the live chat room, it'll take you to this chat.
All right, send me a link.
Okay, I'll send you it on a fucking messenger. Yep.
All right, later, brother.
Later, guys. Hey, guys, thanks for calling in and thanks for showing up. And now that I know how to do this with the live callers, and I can plan it a little bit better, I think we'll get some bigger shows. We got something coming up in the near future. A guy named a friend of mine, William Harder. He basically does they call it murderabilia. He goes and he buys stuff from serial killers on death row and sells it for a profit, right, to collectors. Well, you know, he's getting a lot of flack about that because a lot of people feel as though he's profiteering off of the suffering of others, you know, and he you know, there's two sides of that coin, you know, but anyway, he's going to get on here and talk about, like, you know, he's met Charles Manson like 28 times, and he's you know, done some stuff with a lot of serial killers and other weird shit he's, you know, collected and puts money on their books, and, you know, they give him like, you know, fingernails and whatever, I don't know what they go, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's gonna be on here and talking about that. So if you guys like serial killers, man, I've always been fascinated with serial killers, so he should be on here in the next week.
It's gonna be a good show. I know that there was kind of a thing for a while where people were there. Wasn't there like serial killer game cards or something like that too. There
Trading
was, like,
cards. Hell yeah.
trading cards. Yeah, there was. Yeah, so yeah, I I know quite a few people that are really deep into that. That's going to be a really good show, man.
So for
And
the
I've met Mr. Harder before after we got out of
oh, that's right, Ghost.
Ghost.
Right, that's right. Fuck, what was that? 2015, I think. Right?
Yeah, when
Damn.
things were normal.
Yeah, right. Relatively, right? Before shit got all turned upside down. Yeah, yeah. I remember that. That was that observatory, San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a
He's
good show.
yeah. All right, brother. Yeah, I'll send you the link on Messenger for those of you that are listening. There, I'm going to drop in the comments below the video and the chat box the link to the chat room we're going to. It's just like a tiny chat so that everybody can cam up and talk, or you don't have to if you don't want to. But here's the link below the video. Oops, wrong button. And then the link's already in the chat. So, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to cut this out.
Peace.
How do I stop this thing? Bam, in stream.
Oh, fuck. I was starting to fucking do something. All right. Where am I going?